Good morning, everybody. It is a solid Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. in Nashville, Tennessee. Today's video, kind of a combination, two-part thing of dealing with depression, but also acknowledging why you're depressed. So I've been kind of thinking about this over the last 2 days because I wanted to make a video on it, and it ties in a little bit to the video from yesterday too, kind of. But basically, throughout improving yourself, you're gonna come across this type of depression that doesn't actually have a name, or at least I don't think it does, like an official name. But it basically comes from, falling off the wagon, or, not seeing the results that you want to see from whatever you're doing, or being, you could have written out goals and been like, oh, I want to be here at X time, and you're not there yet. So essentially, it's just kind of like this feeling of low self-worth and confidence because you haven't reached exactly where you want to be. Or, you slipped up on something and you're mad at yourself, and it just causes like this, negative cycle. So I think my way of approaching this is to acknowledge when this happens. So what behaviors that you do lead to this? So it could be drinking, it could be not working out, it could be not waking up early, it could be, smoking weed, it could be, going on your phone all the time, watching TV, playing video games. It could be any of that. So figure out which behaviors are causing the negative feelings, and notice how you interact with people too. If you are hanging out with your friends and it feels less fun, or if you're like really disorganized and disfocused in class, or if you're in a relationship and your relationship feels less fun, or it feels like something's off, 90% of the time it is you. Maybe even more than that, maybe like 95. 95% of the time it is not anyone else, it's you. So take those as like warning signs to be like, okay, I need X amount of days by myself. And I don't mean like totally by yourself, like, cut off from society, but, be like, okay, these next 5 days, I need to get back into the swing of things. So, like we said yesterday, you can slowly implement the good habits again. You can start with a routine that you had over again. But, I kind of have this mantra where it's like, do it until you feel better, or do it until you feel good again, and then keep doing it. And eventually, you'll get to the point where it's just so instilled that it's not hard anymore. It's not hard not to drink. It's not hard not to wake up early. It's not hard to take time for yourself. It's not hard to, prioritize, working out or your business or whatever. Eventually it's just not going to be hard. It's hard right now, but eventually it's not going to be hard. You'll have so much momentum and experience that it's just like easy. Like for myself, I cannot, I don't know, is that the right way to word this? I guess. I cannot play video games and be fine. Like it doesn't eat away at my brain like it used to. Or like Instagram, I cannot be on Instagram and it's like, okay, that's fine, whatever. But, in terms of like wanting to party and stuff like that, that hurts. Wanting to drink, like I'm close, I'm almost there, but like there's still, it's sometimes it just eats away, and it's like, hey, like you should do this, like it's fun, like go do it. But at the same time, it's not there. Or like another thing, at least from like a relationship standpoint, is I'll be like, oh shit, I'm not spending enough time with my girlfriend. I'm not hanging out with her enough. But in all honesty, if I feel like shit and I can't be 100% present because I'm somewhere else, what's the point of hanging out there? So might as well take the time, be 100% present, get your shit together, and then hang out there. And same with your friends. It's different with your friends because, you know, it's not that romantic situation where you want to love yourself so you can love the other person. It's different. You know, friends are there to build you up and to help you out. So that's different. But, you know, really make sure that if you feel off in any way, that you kind of just, you know, take inventory of your feelings and your behaviors. You know, what makes me feel bad, write it down. What makes me feel good, write it down. And slowly go from bad to good, or quickly, if you can sustain it. A lot of people can't. You kind of, maybe through a couple days, have to institute everything back in. You know, a lot of people can't cold turkey cut everything off and go. Eventually, you kind of can. Like, I would say I kind of can. Like, I can wake up, or like, let's say Saturday night, I went to bed. Hold on. Friday night, I went to bed at 1. Saturday night, went to bed at 11. Sunday night, went to bed at 10. I don't know what I was doing Sunday. 10, I think. Or that was 11. Sunday night, went to bed at 11. Last night, went to bed at 8. So it's just kind of, you know, and I was up at 4 this morning. I was up at 6 Sunday. I was up at 6 Monday. So, you know, eventually I can just institute myself back into the routine pretty quickly. But for a lot of people, it's harder. It takes practice to get it to where you can do that. And another thing too is the power of acceptance. Yesterday, me and Brett went to like this mindfulness chat that was really cool. But one thing that you should remember is to just accept where you're at and then move on from there. So if you're like, oh crap, I'm not where I want to be, I'm not, you know, what's wrong with me, I'm not where I want to be, this sucks, I'm not making any progress, what the fuck is happening? You know, accept it, meditate, look up meditation specifically for like self-love and confidence and stuff like that, because it will help you build yourself back up. And then keep bringing in the good habits, keep working, and eventually you'll get to the spot where you are. But acceptance is really important because you can do all of the good habits, but if you don't accept the point that you're at, or like your starting point, and you think you're somewhere else, eventually something's gonna happen where you realize you're not in that spot, and you're gonna be like, fuck, what the fuck do I do? And shit's gonna hit the fan. So make sure you do that. But anyways, I mean, that's kind of it. I wanted to talk about this because it's something that I deal with occasionally, probably like, I don't know, once a month, I would guess. Yeah, once a month probably. And it's usually just like a couple days where I just kind of feel out of it, or, you know, I'm not totally sure what like causes it exactly for me. I think it's almost like burnout. Like I just like do everything correctly in my mind. And then I just need like a weekend where I just don't do everything correctly. And I eventually want to get rid of this because the problem with that is that when I do it, I feel crappy for like 3 days, actually more, like 5 days. But it's just like it's needed for me to reset. So I would like to like not have to reset eventually. And I will update everybody once I figure out how to do that. But I honestly think it's just repetition. And, you know, really prioritizing yourself, and, you know, because it's definitely like a slow, it's not like all of a sudden I wake up one day and I'm like, damn, I need a weekend just to like fuck around. It would be like slowly I'll start eating unhealthier, slowly I'll start sleeping in, slowly I'll start being on my phone more, and then it like climaxes at one point, and then I reset, and eventually it will not happen. I know that. So until that day comes, I leave you with this. So practice. Take inventory of what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad, accept where you are, and move on, like we talked about yesterday. But that's essentially it. I have no La Colombe today. Sadly, I had a Starbucks thing earlier and it kind of gave me the shits, which sucked. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. So, adios.
Pizza.